Hey everyone, today's video is probably something I've never done before, also the topic I never thought I would end up making videos for it. I've been actually meaning to, but I never really got a chance. I always back it down and just not make videos about it, but I think it's finally time for me to make videos about it. This topic is about what has been happening to all these different games in Korea, especially with the subculture genre games, or aka anime style games. And information I'll be talking about throughout this video, it may not make common sense time to time, but bear with me here. It has been affecting many games throughout decades, and recently it led to another massive fiasco throughout pretty much all games within Korea, and also some games outside of Korea as well. Point of this video is to help you understand by providing you with more informations and how it kind of started it. I'm not here to try to persuade you saying you should believe in this way. I have my own ideas, of course, but I just want to provide more information so you get wider views of the situations so you can make your own decisions without not seeing the whole picture. But anyways, that's enough for the intro. Let's jump into video and talk about this fiasco. Now, of course, I want to talk about more recent events and the biggest fiasco going on right now currently, but we kind of have to go back and look up the history of how it all started, give you a better understanding. So we start from back in 2016, July 18th, and there was this game called The Closest Online, which is a Korean MMO, that's anime style like. They had a brand new character coming out, and her name was Tina. She happens to have the voice actor who was supporting this particular website, and that website is kind of weird and have very untasteful, and it's supposed to be supporting women's right movement types of thing. Now, before I talk about the sites, we all write stupid shits on the internet. And I think that's some point of the internet, really, to just say stupid shit, because you're on the internet. People have bad takes on subjects, and you can say bad things, I guess. But this website was definitely another level. I'll give an example, and I think it's really disgusting to say it. It'll be like a person saying, hey, I was walking down the street, I saw this kid, I really wanted to do these types of sexual things to them, and the comments would be like this and that, and most likely they're just joking. You're on the internet, you say things without actually doing anything. Most likely the person never left their basement and just decide to write about some stupid shit for that day. It shows what kind of person you really are to make a joke about us, stuff like that. But she was wearing a t-shirt that showing her support for the woman's rights, and I guess it looked totally okay to me, to be honest with you, if I just look at this picture and the t-shirts, and it doesn't really affect me or whatsoever. But she doubled down on it and started supporting the sites who made these t-shirts and other sites that's kind of related to it. One of the sites was Megalian, and that site is what I described just now is what the site is about. They write a bunch of shit like that. They hate one side of genders. They say they want to murder people. That's the other gender. Like I said, those people probably never left their basement, so whatever they say is probably just bullshit. But still, the fact they say stuff like that is just pretty disgusting and disturbing, to the point that they have mentality to say things like that and joke about it. That's just weird, man. That really is a weird. But anyways, she said that she doesn't really see the problem with the things people write within that website. So from there, people start to notice, yeah, this voice actor is kind of odd. This is not really normal. And t-shirts was actually made by another site, and that site was also very similar to the one that's Megalian. So she had two red flags showing up already there. Anyways, Nexon decided to take on actions because they thought to themselves as well, most likely, that yeah, this person could become a problem. So they just replaced her voice with another voice actor instead for the character. Now, we have to make sure on the point that Nexon paid the voice actor for the work she has done. They just decide to not work with that person's voice within the game. Just hire someone else and re-recorded the voice line and everything. So it's not like she really got unfair, treatment. She finished her job, she got paid. It's just that they decided to not use it for other reasons. But other people didn't think so at the time. Many different creators, like females and males, some males as well, decided to speak up for this matter, saying, hey, this is unfair. She shouldn't have been fired, even though she wasn't really fired because she's a freelancer. But many webtoon artists from Neighbors and other website like Legend, that's another webtoon, a website within Korea, writer, illustrator for other games, other voice actors, such supported her in their own way. It could be buying that t-shirt and posting on it. It could be writing a wall of text. It could be retweeting one the other, which a lot of people did actually. That's probably the most of people did to support them. They don't actually want to say things, but they wanted to show support. Or they will be saying in the media, some news media also posted saying, oh yeah, this site is a women's rights site and people are looking down on it and people are getting unfair treatments for supporting that site. Even though, like I said, the site is not really what you think it is. That site is gone now, by the way. It has been taken down a couple years ago. So that already probably shows that this site was just trash bin. But that's what they wanted to support. Now, the voice actor probably didn't really think that far when she supported this. She most likely thought, hey, this shirt looks like cool. And I'm going to buy it and I'm going to support it. And I'm going to post it on my social media. Then people started to saying, you know what it does? She probably said, you know what? I kind of want to be tough and just say, yeah, I don't think you really see much problem with this site. You know, I support this kind of thing. She probably wasn't thinking deep enough. But that's the price you're going to pay if you say stupid thing, especially if you are part of the professions field that's like this. And at the end of the story, many people who supported this ended up backing down and saying, hey, actually don't support this. I apologize, I was wrong. Or they got caught because they're actually much more scumbags than you think. Just think as a Blizzard employee, some of people were exactly like that. I mean, ex-Blizzard employee. I'll correct myself there. So some people were like that, and yeah, you probably know the rest of the story at that point. So we thought it was going to end like that, but over time to time, people still wanted to support things. So throughout many games, past couple years, always once in a while, some artists or other voice actor will pop up and say this kind of stupid thing or support things, and they get struck down. One of the things I remember from the many games I played is Girls from Line 1 with the K7. She was one of the Korean rifle character that was supposed to come out. The artist got found out about supporting the sites, so they ended up killing K7 completely and scrapped her completely out of the game, or before it even released actually. And instead they hired someone else, which is Ami. She drew many different characters throughout the anime games actually, and she drew K2 as well. So that was a good riddance, and she was a really cute character and pretty nice. Destiny Child is another game very famous for kicking out one of the feminist illustrator from their games. And Witch Spring is another game that's actually a more unfortunate ends because they ended up supporting this type of movement themselves. So they had some cult following, they had a pretty decent sales, but after start supporting this site, they actually lost a lot of their fan base, and the series pretty much went downhill from there. So that's another important lesson that they should have, that you want to support them hoping they will buy your games, but you should know your audience. Your audience is the one who will support you, and those people are definitely not the ones who will support your games. I think Final Fantasy XIV for Korean server is another unfortunate situations where a lot of these players are gathered around in that game and they have those kind of nasty talk in the chat room and stuff like that. So a lot of Korean players who want to play FF14 actually just plays the global server or just not play the game at all. I can go on more. There's so many different cases. Zero Lane also had something similar, and Arknight also has something similar as well for Korean server. We have to talk about the most recent event, which is the biggest fiasco, which is including this animation studio named Studio Puri. Studio Puri is a Korean animation studio who creates many different work throughout different games in Korea and some outside of Korea as well. They created many PBs for next and published games like MapleStory, Dungeon Fighter, and Blue Archive recently as well. Games like Counterside, Epic 7, Outer Plane, and a couple other Korean games PB also has been created by them as well. And some PBs for Chinese games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail was also created by Studio Booty. How this studio start to get in trouble is they found out one of the artists who works for Studio Booty, actually one of the directors, so one of the more in the higher position, someone who was there for a couple of years. They found out her Twitter account and how she was like trash talking, that she wanted to kill male dudes, she hates them, blah blah blah, all this disgusting thing on Twitter. And like I said, it's a common thing. But when your profession is like that, that gives pretty bad red flags. But I'll give a debate saying, hey, I'm a type of person who's able to separate my work and my agenda. So even though I have this type of agenda, my work will be clean. But she wasn't that type of person. So we are going back to the Megalian logo. You see this finger. And this gesture implies that Korean males or Asian males in general have a small penis. And they basically are making sexist joke out of it and making fun of them. It's very bad sexist joke that those radical feminists decide to make. And one game, like I said, blows up with this gesture in their PB. Another game pops up and have a problem with that. So they start to digging down and more at the point where it seems like entire PB created by them seems to have this type of hand gesture slapped everywhere. Now, you could be overthinking, but when the artists say those kind of thing and supports those movements, it's really hard to not really think about that way. It's really hard for players to think the otherwise, in my opinions. They are the ones who gave that kind of hate speech, so what are you going to think about it? But either way, even if the work is dead or not, it's definitely not a good look on a company that you're using a work from a studio who has the employees making a hate speech like that. So Nixon decided to take another dramatic measures like they did back in 2016 once more and decide to stop working with the studio Booty entirely and getting rid of all their works from their medias and games completely. Also doubling down on that, they're going to be searching for any other stuffs in their games that leads to these gestures or represented or other hate material stuffs. And they keep finding more and more, and not just from works done by Studio Booty, but also works done in-house. So maybe indicating there are some people with those agenda working within their company itself. So they decide to filter those people out as well. This fiasco is causing huge shift within companies in Korea as a result, not just the game company, but other companies as well, especially with the design related field or other jobs that might have a higher volume when it comes to female workers. Even though they try to filter out over years, they weren't taking as much dramatic measure as right now. The companies are taking really dramatic measures right now because they really don't want to damage their reputations and they don't have to, go through their contracts again with the companies they work with. So they are really taking extra cautious at this point. This is actually making the legitimate good female workers to go through many different problems, and a lot of studios who actually works in anime in the smaller size, they're going to be the one who's going to cut in mid as well. They're saying, hey, we didn't do anything, but now we are getting accused of that we might have those kind of agenda in our studios and our work as well. So this is actually affecting a lot of people within the industry, and just because some few people with the bad taste and just bad agenda decide to have their own little fun with their own work, now it's just spreading everywhere. Once again, I think internet is a place that you say dumb things, and that could be your ways to, release your stress that you have daily lives and whatever. And I understand that. I said a lot of stupid shits when I used to be in hard time in the school as well, and I can't I gotta say, you know, saying stupid shit online and without anyone knowing it's you in real life, it kind of feels like you can say anything and you're like, oh man, I feel good after saying that. As I mean, I will forget about it next day and just move on, kind of thing. I say, oh, I'm gonna, you know, beat the shit out of you, kind of thing, stuff like that. You know, on online, I used to play a lot of Call of Duty, so shit talking through microphone was pretty much a natural habit for a lot of players at the time as well. I'm just saying that when it comes to profession, like you're old enough when you have that kind of jobs, you understand that your job is not supposed to have your agenda into it. But it seems like a lot of people tend to forget that these days and they put their agendas and ideas throughout the games. And this is just not Korean games or Korean media alone. Western culture is pretty much similar as well. There's tons of different medias that I used to enjoy and the series I used to love. Now they just have so much different agenda put into their games and all these movements and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I am here to enjoy and play the game, but they decide to put those ideas and agenda into their games and just ruins the fun. It's just really upsetting. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I really don't know, but this problem is pretty big in Korea at the moment. And there's another, it's not really related because in this situation with the Genshin Impact, is the artist actually never seems to be showing that types of finger gesture movement within her work. We are talking about the Freena's character designer from Genshin Impact. She was caught with saying all this disgusting thing, which is really, really disgusting because she said a lot of these things on Twitter over years, and she's also said a lot of things about Chinese people. And she also said a lot of things about children, sexualizations, and yeah, just distasteful, man. Like I said, I don't think she really mean it, maybe, but even then, like saying stuff like that, you don't mean. Not even deleting them, just leaving there. I mean, that sounds just like maybe she really thinks that way. But anyways, players find that out, and Chinese players right now are having huge outrage over it. I'm not sure if the Hoyoverse take any actions of it. Like I said, Hoyoverse also used the Foodie's animations work, but they didn't really say any comments about it, unlike many other Korean company taking a stance. I understand the Hoyoverse is a global company, but we'll see. Long story short, from my end, I just want people to separate their persona they have on the internet from the professions they do in real life. No one wants to see what you believe in to the work you create. They just want to enjoy the work you create and have fun out of it. Sorry for kind of deep video. I've never done this. Feels kind of odd. But hope that gave some understanding about the current situations and what's been happening. But I'm really glad at least all these companies are taking a stance and trying to make the better out of it. Like I said, I don't think many of these companies don't care if you believe in this types of movements or what you do at home with your own time, with whatever website you're on. It's just that don't let that spill into the work you do at work. Just, that's not good. Anyways, once again, thanks for watching. This is Jake. I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.